السماوات والأرض أدعو الله سبحانه وتعالى ألا يحرمنا إياها لحظة لقائه اللهم آمين. وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وصفيه من خلقه وحبيبه أدى الأمانة وبلغ الرسالة ونصح الأمة وكشف الغمة وتركنا على المحجة البيضاء ليلها كنهارها لا يزيغ عنها إلا هالك. اللهم اجزه عنا خير ما تجزي به مرسلا ونبيا. اللهم شفعه فينا شفاعة لا نعذب بعدها أبدا. اللهم اسقنا من حوضه شربة لا نظمأ بعدها أبدا. اللهم آمين. محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم طب القلوب ودواؤها وعافية الأبدان وشفاؤها ونور الأبصار وضياؤها. صلى عليك الله يا علم الهدى ما هبت النسائم وما ناحت على الأيك الحمائم. My dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, in our wonderful and a great series of Al-Qulub, the hearts, again and again, what kind of heart you carry, what type of heart you do have. Have you ever asked yourself that question? And if you did not ask that question yet, it is now an imperative upon us to find out, how's my heart doing? What kind of heart I do have? As we have seen earlier, it's either to have qalbun abyad, white heart, or a black heart, qalbun aswad. Al-qalb al-abyad, that heart has been always open lil-haqq wal-haqiqah, righteousness and truthfulness, nothing else. My heart has been filled with those two components, of course with the Iman there, your faith, you would have that type of the white heart. You either have qalbun mutma'in, that heart with comfort, tranquility, or qalbun salim, a sound heart. When you meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the day of judgment, it has nothing bad, all of it good. Or you have that qalb al-munib that has been always go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and refer to Him in any action or any deeds, any thought you do have in your life. Or that al-qalb al-wajil, full of fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, watching what you're doing in your life, what you're saying, even what you're thinking about. Or that qalbun at-taqi, with the fear of Allah and watching what you're doing and observing what you have been doing. Always referring to the teaching of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the teaching of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Or you might have that al-qalb al-mu'allaf, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring down to your heart that comfort and tranquility by His grace and His guidance and His mercy. These are the kinds of white hearts. Which one you do have, or which ones you do have? You might have more than one, or two, or all of them there in your heart. Or someone might have that one of them or all of them, al-qulub al-sawda, wal-'iyadhu billah. Those ones, black ones, either qalbun za'ib, deviated from the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from the teaching of Allah and the teaching of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, or qalbun ghafil, the heedless hearts, never be aware of what is going on in his life, or that harsh and hearted heart, al-qalb al-qasi, wal-'iyadhu hypocrisy never mean what they do have inside their hearts. There is always a discrepancy between what they are saying and what they are having in their hearts. Or al-qalb al-marid, the sick hearts, sometimes with nifaq, with hypocrisy, or with arrogance, you name it. Or those hearts where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put a seal on them, has put a seal on them, subhanallah, al-qulub al-makhtuma. Or al-qalb al-a'ma, the blind heart, which you never see truthfulness, never see righteousness, never, subhanallah. Looking at some details of all those kinds of black hearts, they ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us not to have any of them at all. Any of them. When we look at that type of heart in more details, I would like to share with you today where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put a seal in that heart. You look at one ayah in the Quran talking about that seal on that heart, with that meaning, where you find in Surah Al-Baqarah chapter 2 verse 7, ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم غشاوة ولهم عذاب عظيم. A translation of the meaning more or less. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has set a seal on their hearts and on their hearings, i.e. they are closed from accepting Allah's guidance. Closed from accepting Allah's guidance. And in their eyes there is a covering. There will be a great turmoil. Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put that seal on their hearts? It means they do not want to accept that fact of the life being righteous and also tell the truth no matter what the truth is. That's why that seal would be replaced in their heart. They are not willing to accept anything. Just imagine, say, this building is sealed, no one can enter into it. Means you do not have a permission to come into that building. Can you imagine if that heart would be having that heart, that seal on that heart, not to permit any of those wonderful great things, righteousness and truthfulness. ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم. It is not only the heart that would have that seal, but also it will be the hearing as well. They do not hear the truthfulness, they do not hear the teaching of Allah, they do not hear the teaching of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and their hearts nothing would betray of any of those nature. Why? For a very simple reason. They are disobedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Disobedient. They never listen. They never abide by the teaching of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They never take the teaching of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the teaching of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam seriously in their life. So that seal would be there. That heart never received all of those teachings that they decided to be this way. No one forced them to be this way. They make their own choice to be this way. So this is a kind of the black hearts some people would have. So we have to be extra careful with the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, letting that Iman firmly established in your heart by following the teaching of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the teaching of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and being absolutely obedient to his commands and his demands on us for halal way, and be away from the haram way. The other kind or type of hearts, some people also do not pay enough attention to that type, but some people do have it. Al-Qulub al-Za'iqa. Those hearts who have been deviating from the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Always deviating from the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just imagine you're driving somewhere, freeway, highway, anywhere. You know that lane and I have to keep driving in that lane. If I want to change to the right one, have your signal, change to the right one or left one. Or keep going straight. This is in our daily life, our affairs in driving, watching for the rules and regulations of the traffic. When it comes to our dealing with the teaching of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, some people would love to deviate from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. هذه صراطي قل هذه سبيلي. This is my way. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us. This is the way of Allah. Follow that way of Allah. At least the way you follow the rules and regulations of the traffic. Be in one lane. Don't keep going right and left without having any signal to tell people around you to right or left, behind you, in front of you, where you're going. Some people would love to do the same thing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Deviating totally. That's why no wonder when we read every day at least 17 times in our obligatory prayers, al-fara'id, and also in the sunnah, almost the same, when we read, ask Allah, اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. Allah, guide us to your straight way. الصراط المستقيم. In this dunya and in hereafter. But sometimes you'll find some people who are really deviating. What do we find this in the Quran? It's a wonderful dua, as I have shared with you earlier, where it says, رَبَّنَا لَا تُزِغْ قُلُوبَنَا بَعْدَ إِذْ هَدَيْتَنَا وَهَبْ لَنَا مِن لَّدُنكَ رَحْمَةً إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ الْوَهَّابُ. Allahumma ameen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept this wonderful dua from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our Lord, let not our hearts deviate from the truth. And the absolute truth is Islam. The teaching of Allah and the teaching of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Once you are straight on this, you'll be straight in everything in your life. In your education, in your business, with your family, with your spouse, with your children, everything. That's why I would love for all of us to remember that dua. رَبَّنَا لَا تُزِغْ قُلُوبَنَا بَعْدَ إِذْ هَدَيْتَنَا. Our Lord, let not our hearts deviate from the truth after you have guided us. So the guidance has been already given to us. The guidance meaning the Quran, meaning the revelation, meaning the wahy, meaning the teaching of Allah and the teaching of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And grant us mercy from you. وَهَبْ لَنَا مِن لَّدُنكَ رَحْمَةً. Because sometimes we're in the straight way, but maybe that's not enough. We need that mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep us with our ibadat, with acts of worship, obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and being away from any deviation in our life. So we need that mercy. Again and again in Surah Al-Fatiha, when we read, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, in the name of Allah, most gracious and most merciful. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. And again, third ayah of the Quran, Ar-Rahmanir Rahim, most gracious and most merciful. We need His mercy. We need His grace upon us in order to keep going. It's part of the energy, part of the teaching of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And grant mercy from you, truly you are the bestower. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, innaka anta al-wahhab. So remember that dua in your salah, in your sujood, in your daily basis when you say, رَبَّنَا لَا تُزِغْ قُلُوبَنَا بَعْدَ إِذْ هَدَيْتَنَا وَهَبْ لَنَا مِن لَّدُنكَ رَحْمَةً إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ الْوَهَّابُ. I'm referring in here to chapter 3, Al-Imran, ayah 8. Verse 8, Al-Iman 3 and 8. So these are Al-Qulub Al-Za'iqa. If someone chooses to have that heart inside him or her, that's your own choice, that's your own problem. If not, make this dua and follow the teaching of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the teaching of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. There is another kind of black hearts I would like to share with you. We have to be extra careful with this one, especially when it comes to the leadership. The other ones we're talking about you yourself and your relation to yourself. You yourself with relationship to people around you. You yourself with relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now this is, it is addressing the leaders. The leaders, the leadership of any community, whatever those leadership are. It addresses us as it addressed Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. What it is, we'll see inshallah al-alamin. لازلنا في رحاب المصطفى البر لا يبلى والذنب لا ينسى والديان لا يموت كل ابن آدم خطاء وخير الخطائين التوابون والتائب من الذنب كمن لا ذنب له ادعوا الله وأنتم موقنون بالإجابة. الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى الحمد لله وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأصلي وأسلم على رسول الله صلاة وتسليما يليقان بالحبيب المصطفى النبي المجتبى صلوات ربي وسلامه عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وتابعيه تابعيه إلى يوم الدين. My dear respected brothers and sisters of Islam, our sons and daughters, the future of Islam, inshallah. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taught us when it comes to me or someone else to be in a position of a leadership. Imam of the masjid, scholar of Islam, president of the board of directors, president of Majlis al-Shura, the council, at my workplace, I'm the owner. At my home, I'm the head of this home. Somewhere else where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed upon me to be in that leadership position. How my heart would be. Think about it. Because sometimes when I'm a dad, I'm responsible for everything in this household. I am a dictator. I give orders and commands and that's it. And no discussion. And listen to me. Don't even refer to anything. Or I am the boss somewhere else. Or supervisor. And people are working for me. That's it. You have to abide by it. No discussion. Or with my spouse. I am the one who will give the commands, orders, and you just listen. Most of the time it's the husbands. And the wife will be the ones who will be ordered and commanded to do things. Either according to the teaching of Islam or most of the time it has nothing to do with the teaching of Islam at all. Or being imam somewhere. We're human beings. We're not angels. We're not prophets. We're not messengers. And I'm here to tell everyone around me, here is what you got to do, and no discussion. No room for discussion. What happened in the life of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? We have talked about this issue earlier when it came to the leadership of him sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In order for us today, after 1400 years, to learn something from him, it was the Battle of Uhud. You know it. And it was Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he decided, along with the Sahaba to go for this battle. Though the hypocrites, under the leadership of the hypocrite leader, Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul, told Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, 1/3 of the Muslim army were going to withdraw because you do not listen to me. You're just chicken with those young ones who have no experience, nothing to do with the war and so on and so forth, who withdrew. And he withdrew. Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul as the leader of the hypocrites at that time in Medina with Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. 2/3 of the army went to defend themselves, to defend Islam, where the Quraysh people came in order to eradicate Islam, to kill Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to get rid of all of the Sahaba, as a revenge of the defeat they had earlier in the Battle of Badr, where Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, along with the Sahaba, supported by Allah and the Malaika, were victorious. They defeated Quraysh people severely. It was a shame on them. Now they decided to come and have that revenge against Muhammad ﷺ himself, to be killed. All Muslims will be killed, Islam will be eradicated, and this would be it. Islam would be finished. Khalas. Muhammad ﷺ organized his army, whatever is left with him, after Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul, Za'im al-Munafiqeen, withdrew, along with 1/3 of the Muslim army. Muhammad ﷺ organized them in a way, especially that group of the Sahaba, telling them that you will be on the top of that mountain, the mountain of Muhammad. You carry your archers and you defend us from the top of that mountain. If we're victorious and we're after arms, don't even come down to collect with us this. Even if we're defeated, all of us are killed, don't come down to defend us. This is your job, this is your task, this is your assignment. Stay there on the top. Very clear order from the head of the army, Muhammad ﷺ, from the Prophet, from the Messenger. The battle went on and on and on and on without going into any details. At the beginning, Muhammad ﷺ as the leader and the Sahaba were very victorious. They defeated the Quraysh people severely. And the archers there on the top, Ar-Rumah, on the top of the mountain, saw that victory. And they saw the Quraysh people defeated severely, and they were running away out of the battlefield. For them, they get so excited, so happy. Look at that victory, 2 victories in a row. Here is Badr, here is what happened, and here is Uhud were victorious, especially those ones who never participated in the Battle of Badr. So excited, so happy, so great for them to see that victory of Islam. Though they are less in number, less equipped, what they did? They left the top of the mountain, coming down in order to share that happiness, that pleasure, and collect the arms, al-ghanaim, with Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. What did they do? An absolute disobedience to the order of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Absolute disobedience to the leader of the army, to the Prophet, and to the Messenger. They came down. What happened? Quraysh people, their enemies, the army, they have seen what is going on in the scene. Especially when Khalid ibn al-Walid was among the Quraysh people. He did not come to Islam at that point, but he's one of the best leaders ever. Once he saw that scene, he came back around the mountain telling the leaders of the Quraysh people, the followers, now it is our time to defeat Muhammad. Even to kill him, to get rid of him, to be victorious. Now it is our revenge. Look at the strategy of Khalid ibn Walid at that time. Came back in a maneuvering way, very strategic way, came to the Muslims, started killing right and left, till about they were about to finish all of them. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was severely injured in this battle. Many of the Sahaba, many of them were killed. Shuhada, of course. Disobedience of that Rumah, if they stayed there, seeing that Quraysh army, the Kuffar army coming, they would deal with them with their archers. No problem. They will never let them. But they were down. Disobedient Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When it comes from any leader of today or a while ago, with the disobedience of some of your soldiers, disobedience, what he would be doing? That leader, persecute them. Persecute them, even without a trial. As long as they are in the battlefield and disobedient to the order of the leader, they got to be dealt with. Kill them immediately in the field. There is no buts and ifs. And Allah knows what was in the hearts of Muslims at that time, what was in the hearts of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam at that time, when all of the Sahaba saw him that was about to be killed, and many of the Sahaba, the best of the Sahaba, were killed at that battle, including his uncle Hamza and Mus'ab. And you go on and on and on and on. Many of them were killed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knew that what was in the hearts of Muhammad in one side and the hearts of the believers in one side. Immediately revealing to them what kind of heart you do have. White heart to deal with this situation, or a black heart to deal with that situation, especially when the heart there is severe and harsh-hearted. Because we're human beings. We can react to things around us, and whatever is inside our hearts would be reacted accordingly. Good things, I would react in a very good way. Bad things, I would react in a very nasty, bad way. Immediately Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, فَبِمَا رَحْمَةٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ لِنْتَ لَهُمْ وَلَوْ كُنْتَ فَضًّا غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ لَانْفَضُّوا مِنْ حَوْلِكَ فَاعْفُ عَنْهُمْ وَاسْتَغْفِرْ لَهُمْ وَشَاوِرْهُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ فَإِذَا عَزَمْتَ فَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الْمُتَوَكِّلِينَ. This is one ayah in chapter 3, Al-Imran 159. It's one ayah. If I tell you this ayah would summarize to us what? The best ways of the leadership ever in anywhere, with any people, in any position, if you are having that leadership position with anyone. Those 8 elements of the leadership. The Quran is summarizing all of them for us in one ayah. In one ayah. This got to be taught today in a strategic planning and a strategic planning for war everywhere or any kind of leadership. Take one ayah, 159 from chapter 3 and teach it to all leaders of the whole world to learn from Quran, from Allah, from Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. One ayah. One ayah. Not to go to that strategic school somewhere else and have this training and so on and so forth. If it is not in the Eastern Bloc, it would be in the Western Bloc. If it is neither, it would be in Europe. If it is not there, it is in here in America. And have those strategic planning of leadership, have the certificate, being a graduate, and go there to be a leader. And subhanAllah, we found out what kind of leader is this? The worst person ever. Why? Because that ayah of the Quran is not followed. One simple thing. How Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? By the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You Muhammad, you dealt with them gently. With those disobedient to you. Those who left the top of the mountain coming down thinking they would be defending you or helping you. But you have dealt with them gently. You're not persecuting them. You're not killing them. You're not blaming them. They thought this way. It's okay. Disobedient. We have to deal with it. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is addressing them. You have dealt with them gently. And had you been severe and harsh-hearted, وَلَوْ كُنْتَ فَضًّا غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ لَانْفَضُّوا مِنْ حَوْلِكَ. They would have broken away from about you, Muhammad. This is the way. How gentle you would be with your followers. How decent you would be with followers. Even if they disobey Allah. Even if they disobey you. Even if they did not follow what you're telling them. Gentle. Not to be harsh. Hard-hearted. It is you, husband and wife. It is you, parents, and your children. It is you as the owner of this business. It is you, supervisor or boss anywhere, and someone is working for you. Whatever that leadership position you do have, think of this. فَبِمَا رَحْمَةٍ mercy. From Allah, not from you. لِنْتَ لَهُمْ. You're so gentle with them. وَلَوْ كُنْتَ فَضًّا غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ. Severe, and with that harsh-hearted, they were broken away from about you. And this is what we have been seeing, wallah. That XYZ is running for this and that, and we have to have an election campaign in order to have him elected and so on and so forth, and he is the best leader ever, he is such and such, let's do this, let's look at his history, ya Allah. Wallah, it's a shame when you find out someone in a wheelchair and is still running to be the president for a third or fourth term. Wallahi. And another one with the nicest history ever in leadership. And we knew what he did. And now people would go and elect him to be the leader of one country. And you go one by one, and especially in the Muslim world, you take them one by one and tell me about a leader of any country of the Muslim land deserves to be a leader. None of them, wallahi. Wallahi, none of them. Why? One ayah in the Quran. One ayah. 159, chapter 3, Al-Iman. فَبِمَا رَحْمَةٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ لِنْتَ لَهُمْ. Where is that mercy in any of those leaders? None. Where is that gentleness in any one of them? None. وَلَوْ كُنْتَ فَظًّا غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ فَظَاظَ عَنْ غِلْظَةِ الْقَلْبِ. In all of them, look at how many people have been killed right and left everywhere in the Muslim land. Where are their hearts? Where is it? Where is it? Do they care? They don't. فَضَاضَةُ وَغِلْظَةُ الْقَلْبِ. Subhanallah. All kinds of black hearts are in them, wallahi al-azim. Are you working for your people? Those who are in need anywhere in the Muslim land? Give me one leader with one of those qualifications. None. That's why we're too behind. That's why we're so defeated. That's why we're not advancing. That's why we're not taking our own people, whatever the number in million in anywhere. Give me one example and say this ayah will apply to him except to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. فَبِمَا رَحْمَةٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ لِنْتَ لَهُمْ. One. وَلَوْ كُنْتَ فَظًّا غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ لَانفَضُّوا مِنْ حَوْلِكَ فَاعْفُ عَنْهُمْ. Pardon them, forgive them. وَاسْتَغْفِرْ لَهُمْ. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive them. Whoever they are, whatever the mistake they have done. فَإِذَا عَزَمْتَ. If you're planning to go for another route, either for war or development or whatever you do for your country, فَشَاوِرْهُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ. Ya Allah, you Muhammad, you consult with those people with you in the battle where they are disobedient. Yes. Consult with them no matter what. فَشَاوِرْهُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ. وَإِذَا عَزَمْتَ فَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ. If you're planning to do something, put your heavy dependency on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not in any power around you, not in any country around you, not in anyone to help you. فَإِذَا عَزَمْتَ فَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ. All of those qualities, if they are not well established in our hearts, forget it. We either living with dead hearts, or deviated hearts, or hypocritic hearts, you name it. But we need that pure, wonderful, great heart to keep going in our life. And in that particular one, with the leadership. I may ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to our leaders to be the best ever, and go back to this wonderful ayah in Al-Imran chapter 3, 159, in order to learn the real, the absolute leadership. It got to be done, whatever that leader is. It does not matter. I may ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide all of us, inshallah, whoever in any leadership position, whatever that leadership position is, in a mosque, imam, scholar, president, king, amir, husband, wife, parents with the children, your business, to guide us and to soften our hearts and to penetrate that iman inside there. Guide us to the best ever. Allahumma ameen. Allahumma ameen. Allahumma ameen. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi. يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك سميع قريب مجيب الدعوات يا رب العالمين. اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين وأعل بفضلك راية الحق والدين، وانصرنا على عدوك وعدونا يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم انصر من نصر أمة محمد واجعلنا منهم، واخذل من خذل أمة محمد ولا تجعلنا منهم. اللهم اصلح لنا ديننا الذي هو عصمة أمرنا، وأصلح لنا دنيانا التي فيها معاشنا، وأصلح لنا آخرتنا التي إليها معادنا، واجعل الحياة زيادة لنا في كل خير، واجعل الموت راحة لنا من كل شر. اللهم ارحم موتانا، اللهم ارحم موتانا، وفك أسرانا، وفك أسرانا، وكن لنا ولا تكن علينا، ولا تسلط علينا بذنوبنا من لا يخافك ولا يرحمنا. ول أمورنا خيارنا، اللهم ول أمورنا خيارنا، اللهم ول أمورنا خيارنا، ولا تول أمورنا شرارنا. اللهم برحمتك عمنا، واكفنا شر ما أهمنا، وعلى الإيمان الكامل والكتاب والسنة توفنا وأنت راض عنا. اغفر اللهم لنا ولإخواننا في الله تعالى أحياء وأمواتا ولكل المسلمين أجمعين. إليه هذا حالنا لا يخفى عليك، وهذا ضعفنا ظاهر بين يديك، فعاملنا بالإحسان إذ الفضل منك وإليك، واختم لنا بخاتمة السعادة أجمعين. عباد الله، إن الله يأمركم بثلاث وينهاكم عن ثلاث. إن الله يأمركم بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى، وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي، يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله العظيم يذكركم، واشكروه يزدكم. قوموا إلى صلاتكم يرحمني ويرحمكم الله، وأستودعكم.